Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Dark Souls PvP and another Battle of the Uploaders Xbox Edition. Getting into the double digits this time with PhaerusDkS. Now, Ferris is a very, very good Dark Souls player. I always struggle to fight against him, and we have a very similar playstyle. We both just sort of rush in and go for the risky, high damage attacks. We both do that a lot, and really with little concern for our own safety. So it's kind of interesting to fight against someone who's got a similar playstyle to you, and it's really fun. Now, recently I'd been trying to sort of mix things up, and it wasn't working for me, especially against Ferris right here. I was trying to do a little bit of weapon switching, which I still at this point had been working on. I wasn't too great at it. I'm still not too great at it, but I really had a bit of a hard time doing it against him because he's very aggressive and really is good at keeping on you. So if you ever fight him, definitely watch out because he definitely knows how to sort of make you move in a way that'll get you hurt. So one thing I can say about Ferris is he has some really great videos. His commentary is great. I mean, he's such a good speaker, and I kind of feel like he's a better speaker than I am, which isn't saying much, because I'm not that great of a speaker, but you guys know what I mean. He's a very sort of laid-back person, really good at just talking, and seems really easygoing from all of his commentary, and he is, from when I was talking to him. That's just the way he seems. So it's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool guy. But it was definitely a good time fighting against him, and it was really fun. We had a lot of really close matches. I think this is a really close one right here. He, I think, had only like probably 10 health left. I should have just gone for an S-Stack poke, but I don't learn, apparently. I don't think to do that. And, you know, killing someone with a firebomb is always so much more entertaining. But, oh well, it is what it is. No big deal. So, one thing I can say about his videos, actually, I really always have liked this, especially, well, not especially, but since he started uploading, I've always liked this about his videos. It's when he's starting off the video, the beginning of the video will be started by the NPCs in the game saying something. He'll take the audio clips of an NPC and use it to say something about the video or the player or something like that. So it's pretty cool, and it's definitely interesting and a very creative use for the NPC dialogues. So huge shout out and well, not shout out, but huge props to him for thinking of doing that, because I have never even heard of anyone doing something similar to that before. So that's pretty cool. Right here, I got a bit lucky. I really didn't expect that running attack that I did to work very well, and I really should have expected that R2 to miss, but it's always so much fun to do, especially when you land in the puddle. I don't know if you could hear it or not in this video, but you make a little bit of a drowning, bubbly sound like thing, so it's kind of funny. But really, overall, we had a really good time throughout this video, throughout these fights. Especially later on, we both went and did some zero poise fights, and I actually have a zero poise setup. I mean, you all know about my zero poise setup, but I've got another one that I use just for when I'm fighting someone else with zero poise. So it's pretty interesting, and it was definitely a good time. And even after that, we ended up having a match with fist weapons, and I gotta say, that was really fun. It's always a great time, and before I go on with that, I loved that move he pulled right there. I mean, I know it was just a running attack, but the way he, like, did a 90-degree turn with it, it looked really cool. So, anyway, what I was saying, you know, I always do that. I always do that. I really should just finish my train of thought before I try and switch to another and then switch back. I really should, because I always do this. I always forget what I'm saying. And right there, I got a nice little parry. You know, I always do this. I really need to work on that. I really need to work on that. I was talking about zero poise, I was talking about a little setup that I've got for it when I fight someone with zero poise, talking about the fight with fist weapons, yeah, I don't know. But I remember this part when we were talking, we were both just throwing fire bombs, and I was like, oh, so it's gonna be like that, and I decided to run in at him instead, and, well, as soon as I saw that S-stack moving, I knew I was in trouble. I just knew I was in trouble. So right there you saw him doing a little bit of a dead angle attempt with the Murakumo. So right there you could see one of his, actually, you could really clearly see one of his great toggle escapes. He does them quite a few times throughout this video, and I honestly did not expect myself to get that parry. I really didn't, but I did, so I'm not going to complain. I mean, this was probably the one and only time I actually, you know, won a fight without getting hurt. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, especially against another uploader, but when it does, it's always so nice feeling. And I think at one point, it might have been this fight actually, I got determined to kill him with a crossbow. So that was pretty fun, and didn't really end up working too well for me, I don't believe. Unless, maybe I'm getting my fights mixed up with someone else, that's possible. This video is a few days old at this point, so I don't know. I think actually it might have been this fight I was determined to get him with the crossbow, and I pulled off a little, yeah, it was this. I pulled off a little move that I like. If you throw a black firebomb or something, just completely out of the way, doesn't have to hit them or anything, just to bait them in. You can actually, well, you know, bait them in for the attack. And that's exactly what I was aiming for right then. I was just trying to bait him into the attack, and it worked. So, you know, just little things like that, just people don't expect. So, honestly, I think actually, I don't know how much health I had left, but I think even if I did end up trading for 2 hits for that, it would have been fine. I don't think he would have given me the chance though, just because, I mean, like I said, we do have a similar play style, and he probably would have been able to figure out what I was trying to do. And right there, I swear I was out of range of that. I really thought I was out of range for that attack, but oh well. Now, right here, he was using the Lucerne. I actually hadn't used the Lucerne in quite a few, probably months at this point. And right there you can see that dagger is dangerous, and you don't really ever see it very much. But same goes for the mace, actually. When I pulled that out, I got a nice little hit on him. But the dagger, actually, it is a fairly reliable weapon. It's very good and can hit really, really fast and pretty high. So if you have a red tearstone ring on and the dagger active and you two-hand that thing, those R2s, they can hit probably around 400 damage really quickly. I mean, they hit about 200s as it is, so with the red tier, then they'll hit more like 400s, 300s, high 300s that is. So really, you can add up the damage really quick, and it can really turn a fight around. I believe it was Applesby Bloopy who did that to me in my spear users video. That was pretty funny. He definitely is a very good player, and I really struggle to fight against that guy, but that's a story for another time. And I think actually he started uploading recently too, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but oh well. I'm pretty sure he did. Excuse me, pretty sure he did. Okay, what else can I talk about in this video? Now, right there, he was trying to take some cover in the trees. That was pretty funny. Not sure if he meant that as more of a joke or what, but speaking of trees, this thing decided to get in my way. I actually had a really good fight the other day with someone. I don't remember who it was, but I was in the Moonlight Pit like I am right now, and they were trying to do some move swapping on me. And they were not really getting it, which I'm perfectly okay with. I have an opinion on move swapping, and I'm not going into that now. I don't want to see it in the comments, guys. Please, I don't want to see an argument on that. But he was trying to do some move swapping on me, not Ferris, the random guy I was fighting, and it wasn't working out so well for him. And then he ended up hitting me, and I was down. I couldn't even see any. I just couldn't even see any tiny little bit of health I had left. It was that low. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that on yourselves at some point, where your health is just so low, you just can't even see it. And right there, that was a really close fight. I was just so upset that that firebomb didn't get him, but doesn't matter. Anyway, so sliver of health, that's where I was at. See, I remember this time. So I had that sliver of health, and then suddenly the red happy lizard thing from down behind the living tree came up and it started to attack me. So I killed it, and then a tree bro came over and tried to attack me, so I killed it. And then the guy who I was fighting came in and attacked me, and I parried him, and I killed him. And I looked at my health after, I had 1 health left, and just everything was coming at me. It was such a cool little thing, and it was a really good feeling, but that's all kind of random and off topic of the fight. So, right there, he was pulling out the Dragon Slayer Great Bow, and that bow is really easy to counter. If you're not aware of how to counter it, all you have to do is hold up your shield. So, right here, actually, I was talking with him about playing with Zero Poise, and I completely forgot. I had planned to play with Zero Poise throughout this fight, I really did. But me being stupid, I forgot that I had my wolf ring on. So I actually ended up having 40 poise for this fight instead of having 0. But it really didn't change the way I played at all. It was more of a mental thing than anything. So really, when I play with 0 poise, it really is more of a mental thing, because it makes me pay more attention to what my opponent's doing. And even just thinking that I had 0 poise made me play better. And I realized after the fight, oh wait, I'm wearing my wolf ring. So I had to switch that up, and I did for the next fight. So, going with 0 poise for a little while from this point on. Definitely was very difficult. He was definitely not very merciful, and I am happy for that. It was a really great fight, and he did that a lot. He jumped into my attacks quite a few times, and it was kind of funny, but I'm not complaining because, hey, free damage for me, plus it was more instability damage, and boom, pancake. I love doing that. People really don't ever expect a second R2 with certain weapons, one of those weapons being a Zweihander or another being the Murakumo. People just don't expect the second R2 attack. So that can really be used to, hurt them. It's really a good idea to follow up your R2 with another R2, because chances are the person is going to move in on you, and if they move in on you, then chances are you're going to be able to hit them with the second R2. And that is a really good thing because, well, damage. And right there, he made really quick work. Really quick work of me, that fight. That was just bad on my part, but oh well, it happens. No big deal. And those fast swinging weapons, the falchion and the scimitar, I always get the two mixed up, but I think that one's the falchion. Those things in the offhand can really, they can hurt. They can combo really well. They can add a lot to your comboing ability, so it's something you really should watch out for. Plus, a lot of the more experienced players will use them as a weapon in the offhand, so you should really be expecting it at that point. And using the poison tail in the offhand, that's a really viable thing. I never would have thought to do, well actually I probably would have thought to do that because I did it with a notched whip, but using the poison tail and the large club with the rotten pine resin on it, that's a really good idea on how to build up someone's poison really fast, because the large club has poison build up already. Plus you've got the pine resin, plus you've got the guardian's tail, so you can really build someone's poison up. I keep saying bleed. Ugh. You can really build someone's poison up really fast. And that's the second time he got me with one of those R2 or one of those rolling attacks. And I always seem to be out of range when he does, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like I'm always out of range for it, so oh well, it is what it is. Now, right here, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know why I was doing that. I don't know why I didn't cut that part out. Oh well. That's just me being forgetful, apparently. I messed up my recording. Oops. I actually had a little bit of difficulty with this. The first time I loaded it into my editing software, it cut off and I was missing about 5 minutes of fights. So I don't know what happened with that, but it did. So I was having to reload it into the editing software 3 times. I don't know what it is recently, but I've been having issues with my software. I'm really considering buying an upgrade. And right there, I don't know how he missed me, and I don't care how he missed me, but that was funny. I mean, I didn't even move. I just stood there spamming away with my dagger for what, 4 hits? And it just completely missed. I don't even know. But eventually, I think it might be after this fight, we both go to 0 poise, and those were some pretty fun fights. I don't know if any of you have ever played against someone who is also using 0 poise, but it is really a good time, and I definitely would suggest it because it's different. I mean, you wouldn't expect how things change as much as they do, just because, I mean, everything stuns, so it makes certain tactics, certain weapons more viable. So a rapier when you're fighting with 0 poise is more viable than when you're fighting without 0 poise. And when I'm saying that, I mean fighting against someone with 0 poise while you also have 0 poise. But fighting with 0 poise, it makes fist weapons more viable because they stun. So I like the claws. I used this setup in my video on 0 poise, and it was a really good time when I did it then. So I decided I would bring it back. I mentioned it to him that I had a little setup for when I do that, and well, I do. It's kind of funny. But right here he pulled out the Golem Axe as well, just because it's a fun weapon to use. And I think I actually might end up bleeding him out with my claws, and that's something that doesn't really happen too often. So that made me kind of happy. Might have been either this fight or the next one, I don't remember. But I believe I included the fight where we both used fist weapons like Dragon Bone Fists, and right there is where I bled him out, so I'm not crazy, it was that fight. Yay. So, this is the second to last fight. I really don't have anything else to say. Ferris is a really good uploader, really great commentator. Oh, I actually do have something else to say about this fight. I have no idea what I was thinking with the dual bows. I really don't know. It wasn't viable or practical or anything, and I don't care. It was fun. It was a good time. So that's all I had to say about that. As long as you're having fun, who really cares? But anyway, about his videos and such, they are really good, really creative, great commentary, so on and so forth. I have nothing else to say, so anyway, this is the last fight. I'm gonna go now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, check out his channel and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.